The Clown Motel isn't just creepy, it's nightmare fuel. Located in the remote Nevada desert, it sits next to a graveyard. The motel is littered with clowns and a terrifying history you can't ignore. It is also known as America's scariest motel.
It's all gonna be safe, and we're all gonna have a great time. What in the Jesus Christ was that?
In the dusty little town of Tonopah, there stands a motel unlike anything on this earth. Covered wall to wall in clowns with hundreds of staring eyes and twisted smiles, the Clown Motel has become one of America's most popular haunted roadside stops. But beneath the gimmick lies something dark, a swirling mixture of ghost stories, mysterious deaths, cursed history, and a graveyard full of secrets. As bizarre as it sounds, the Clown Motel is real, and it sits right off Highway 95 and has been around since 1985. Welcoming the brave and curious with glowing neon signs and over 2,000 clown dolls. They have a variety from vintage circus clowns to modern porcelain. Every inch of the motel is covered in painted faces, faded wigs, and unnerving grins. It's not a place for the faint-hearted, especially if you have coulrophobia, the fear of clowns. This is the last place you'd want to spend the night. But what makes it straight out of a horror movie is not just the decor. The motel was built right next to the Tonopah Cemetery, a massive graveyard dating back to 1901. Over 300 miners, townfolk, and victims of the plague are buried in this cemetery. The original town of Tonopah was built during the silver mining boom, but it came with its share of death. Between mining accidents, mysterious illnesses, and sudden explosions, the graveyard became crowded quickly, and guests at the hotel say the souls still haunt the place. Guests at the motel claim to see shadow figures walking by the parking lot at night. Others have reported lights flickering, doors opening, and whispering in the hallways. But the most common story is people waking up in the middle of the night only to find the piercing stare of a clown from the corner of the room, only for it to vanish seconds later. One of the eeriest rooms is room 108, which staff say is the epicenter of paranormal activity. According to ghost hunters and former guests, there have been reports of temperature drops, disembodied voices, and unexplained banging on the walls. One of the guests swears they saw a shadow of a person wearing miner's clothes and a clown's nose standing at the foot of her bed. When she turned on the light, it was gone. Over the years, the motel has become a hotspot for thrill seekers, ghost hunters, and paranormal YouTubers. Shows like Ghost Adventures have filmed episodes there, and the property is a recurring feature in the haunted travel blogs. In fact, there is a theory about the motel that it has been built on cursed land and a psychic vortex attracting restless spirits from the graveyard and beyond. The original owners, Leona and Leroy, built the motel in honor of their late father, who was a clown collector and is buried in the cemetery next to the motel. The clown dolls were originally just part of his personal collection. Over the years, the guests and other people started donating more clowns, turning the motel into an accidental shrine for clown culture. Today, the motel is owned by VJ Mehar, who embraces the horror theme fully and even added life-size horrifying clowns to increase the terror factor. VJ mentioned that he has experienced unexplainable events too. In interviews, he has mentioned hearing voices when no one's around, feeling watched even in empty rooms, and noticing things move on their own. Despite this evidence, he says he has no intention of cleansing the motel. He says it's part of the charm, and the spirits are more curious than evil. Not to forget, the mining history is filled with deadly cave-ins and mysterious deaths. During the Tonopah Belmont mine fire of 1911, there were 17 miners who got killed in the accident and were buried next to the Clown Motel. The paranormal investigators believe it might be the reason for the unusual activity at the motel, and it only gets darker from here. There have been reports that there is one specific clown doll that is possessed. People who stare at it long enough report dizziness, feeling nauseous, and an overwhelming sadness. In recent years, the Clown Motel has fully embraced its identity as America's scariest motel.